bitches and bros and non-binary hoes. Welcome back to this amazing podcast where I'm going to let Wolf immediately start talking before he decides to rip my head off. Go ahead, Wolf.
By the way, today is a rant sesh. Why? Because Wolf had a oh my gosh, such a bad day at work. I swear to God. This was yesterday. Speaking of which, we're recording this on Friday. This was yesterday. I do not work Fridays. Thank God I don't work Fridays because what Muse just informed me. Because what Muse just informed me would make me want to bash this guy's head out even more. Long story short, the manager for my department went on leave on Wednesday because his wife's having a baby. Which makes sense. He's going to be on leave for at least 2 weeks, depending on his wife's health, however long that goes. However, that means that it's just me and 2 other people. One of which is, both of which are incompetent. One of which is getting better because he's realizing he doesn't want to be compared to the other guy. And that other guy is our assistant manager. Mm-hmm. He's never been in a position of any sort of manager position before. The only reason he got hired for it was because he agreed to go through all the training and stuff. And we were in desperate need of an assistant manager. This guy, I swear to God. So not only, he doesn't listen there's a list. He's been there for like a month. None of us want him. None of the store managers want him. My manager doesn't want him. Even people in other departments don't want him.
Nope.
That's how bad he is. He was given half a pallet of stuff. So half a pallet of stuff is about 20 boxes. Normally, that takes between a half hour and an hour. I came to work one day, and he had already been working on it for 3 hours. Another time, yeah. That's our assistant manager, folks. Slower than molasses. Another time, he had a cheese float. This cheese float had about 60 boxes on it. That also takes 45 minutes to an hour. 2 hours later, he's still working on it. Not only that, when he moved the float onto the floor to stock the cheese, he stuck it right in the middle of the aisle, which is a big no-no because then you block the aisle. Grocery store aisles, not big. You're supposed to put it off to the side.
Right.
No, he sticks it not only right in the middle of the aisle, he puts it close enough that he could prop the cheese doors open with it. However, in doing that, no customer can access those doors now. Because he's blocking them.
Oh, God.
Yes. And there's more. There's more, folks. I'm not done. I got a whole
rant. We'll be here all night.
I got a whole rant planned out, okay? This guy. I want him gone. So bad. In my manager's words, I am the only competent worker over there. And thankfully, I got permission from my manager to chew him out. Thank God, because otherwise no one would find his body. I'm dead serious. If I see that guy, I'm literally going to scream at him. I'm gonna take him in the back room and chew him out because I'm pissed, especially what he did yesterday. But long story short,
and what he did tonight.
Before what Muse just told me before the podcast. God. Before I get to yesterday and tonight's issues, let me talk about past issues as well. So, when you order things, you think, let me go around and look at the shelves, make sure that I input the correct numbers into the system to make sure I'm only ordering what we need. And, because we have an entire freezer in our back room that's all back stock, maybe I should go in there and check and see, what we already have. No, he doesn't do that. He goes through and he scans anything he thinks we need, anything that looks empty, despite the fact that half the things that look empty have just been shifted over one spot, so they're just in the wrong spot. He doesn't pay attention to that. He just goes, empty space on shelf, scan. He also inputs the numbers wrong. For example, the store manager and I mean top dog store manager, came over one day because I was trying to stock ice cream. I had a pallet of ice cream. Half the pallet could not go up. Which, for those of you wondering, a pallet of ice cream, which is a mixture of both tubs and novelties being like ice cream sandwich boxes and stuff, and like the cones and those things, there's about, I'd say, 60 of those on a pallet. 30 of those didn't go up. We should have only had less than 10 not go up. We should have only had maybe 5 not go up. Over 30 didn't go up. I had half a pallet. Store manager comes over, looks at me, and he goes, did you run that? I said, yeah, that's all backstock. He looked at me shocked. Then he pulled out his gun, we call them guns, they're the scanners, and he went over and he scanned one of the items, and he went, this is inputted wrong. On here it says there's only 4 on the shelf. However, it's fully stocked, meaning that there's 12 on the shelf. Who did the order? And I told him, I said, oh, A did it, assistant manager. And he went, I swear to God. I went, yeah, I have half a pallet that won't go up now. And what's worse is, when I went to the back and I tried to put it on, we have these giant ice cream floats, which are 3 tiers, so 3 shelves, and then we literally have a shelf on the wall, which is like two empty spaces where we can put it. We haven't had ice cream on that shelf for months. However, suddenly this guy shows up and screws up the orders. Everything, I was supposed to be running backstock that day. Everything that was on that pallet that didn't go up was in backstock. So now I couldn't run backstock. So I'm not kidding. We have an entire pallet of ice cream sitting in our back room now that won't go up. And it's not actually on a pallet. It's on a float and it's on the wall because I had to stack it there. And he's still ordering ice cream. So I wrote him a note on Thursday that basically said, hey, do not, with a bunch of lines underneath it, order ice cream. Too much backstock. And one of the managers, B, said I could write that. Because he agreed there was too much backstock. Because I showed him the backstock. Because it's gotten to the point now where I can't even fit it on the float or the wall. There's a cart in there now that has ice cream. Because it won't fit. Because this guy over-orders. Or he orders things we don't need.
I think he tried to make some room because I saw him with a full pallet of empty carton crates leave.
I'll have to see when I go in tomorrow how bad it is. Because what's worse is...
You don't want to see. You do not want to see.
Oh, I know I don't want to see. What's worse is I have to organize that tomorrow because I work 12 to 8. And Sunday's our biggest truck. I have to organize that crap. Okay, so now let's get on to what he did yesterday for Thursday. Well, actually, let's start with Wednesday. So, as you can tell, this guy is not good. Panda's enjoying this. It gets worse, Panda. Wait till you hear what he... So, Wednesday... Wednesday, our other coworker was scheduled to work... So, basically, since this guy is still going through BBT training...
Oh, I felt so bad.
A couple of times a week, he has to go to this training. However, his training's only 2 hours long. So, common sense says he can still work, right?
Yeah.
No, he takes it as I'm going to take the entire day off. So, my coworker, who was scheduled on Wednesday, was scheduled to work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Oh, he got screwed.
Because the assistant manager didn't want to come in.
Oh, that's just bullshit.
He begged him to come in. He literally was, almost on his knees begging if he could come in, and the guy went,
He asked for your number.
Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah, he came up to me that day. It was like,
I know he did because he started texting me. He texted me afterwards. He said, "Hey, this is A," because both of them have names that start with A. However, his is the slightly more
we should
competent
go with
A.
little. Go with little A and big A, just because big A
Yeah.
technically has more power.
Yeah, Big A is assistant manager A. Little
Also-
A he's a full timer. I felt so bad for him. And
Yeah.
you know what Big A's response was to him when he begged? He said, "Oh, I'm sure they'll get the day runners to help you." Day runners don't work Wednesdays and Thursdays. They don't work. So poor little A. It was a truck day too. So
Yeah.
he had 5 pallets in the freezer and 4 pallets in the cooler. And he had to run all that by himself. So, needless to say, and he texted me about this, because he was apologizing. He said, "I feel bad because you're the only one working tomorrow." And I was. I was the only one working Thursday, which was a part of the problem. And he was like, "I feel bad because I didn't even get to half the stuff today." He's like, "I got through half the dairy, and I tried to get through a little bit of the frozen." And he basically told me, he said, "Oh, by the way, meat department's now pissed at him because when we get our deliveries, meat department and bakery are mixed on our pallets. Because it's all frozen things. So they get mixed with our stuff. So poor little A was trying to break down these pallets to get to meat department and bakery's things because they were needing them. And he had to basically go over and pull all the bakery people and all the meat department people away from their jobs to get them to help him. Because he had no one else to help. So those departments are now pissed at Big A. Because to them, that's ridiculous. Because this guy, Big A, has absolutely no incentive to do anything. Unless somebody's there standing there watching him, making sure he does it, he will take his time, he'll do whatever he wants. Because to him, he gets paid either way. Who cares? He gets that big fat assistant manager's paycheck. He doesn't give a damn about us.
Oh, I'm so half tempted to tell you what he told me earlier, Ben.
Oh, I want you to. Wait till I get to Friday, though. So then along comes Thursday, and he was scheduled to go in the morning and do the order.
Right.
And he was supposed to do the next order. So, and he had his classes that day. However, his class wasn't till 1. So surely I thought, he can stay a little bit. No, he decided instead of going in at 6 a.m. when he was scheduled, he was going to wait until like 10. So he went in at 10, and yeah, exactly. So he went in at 10. So meaning that for the grocery store, which opens at 6 a.m., there's 4 hours where no one's in our section.
Right.
Because I work 12 to 8, and I am a part-timer. I'm already going over by 10 hours because we only have 3 people in our department right now. Because manager's on leave, and I kid you not, this guy. So he went in to do the order, and I'm thinking, if he only does the order, I'm gonna scream, because at least little A tried to make room in the cooler. Mm-hmm. He actually downstacked all the pallets in the cooler, and he just stuck them on floats and in carts and stuff, because he was trying to make room, to make it so we could access things.
Yeah.
And which I was very thankful for. I told him, that's fine, that's perfect. I said, do what you can, don't worry about it, because you're only one person. I'm not expecting the world.
Yep.
And I kid you not, this guy comes in, all he's planning on doing is the order. He wound up running the boxed milk pallet. However, the only reason he ran that was because, and I quote, "I couldn't get the order done without it being run." That's the only reason he ran it.
Really?
Because he claimed he couldn't get the... Yes, exactly. Because he claimed he couldn't get the order done without it being run. Because there were so many holes that he was sure was on the thing on the back. So he didn't want to do the order without filling up those holes. I just kind of stared at him and I'm thinking, what about the rest of the department? Where there's like 50 other holes. Because we have 5 pallets in the freezer and a crap ton of pallets in the cooler that are, downstacked on the floats and stuff. You're not worried about those holes. No, you're just worried about boxed milk, which is 1 pallet out of the 9 you ordered. Okay. And then I got informed this by Jay in meat department. He told a customer, and I told him off for this. I did tell him off for this because he had the audacity to also say it when I was around. And I actually did pull him to the back and chew him out for it because it was inappropriate. But he had the audacity to say that little A, a customer asked why something wasn't stocked. He had the audacity to tell him, "Oh yeah, I guess the guy that was working yesterday just didn't feel like it."
Oh.
He had the audacity to say that. I found that out later on that he had said it to a customer, which is even more inappropriate. However, he had actually said it to me face to face. He said, "Oh yeah, I guess little A was feeling lazy yesterday." I looked at him, I looked at him and I went, he ran as much as he could as one person. I said, he didn't have the day runners. He didn't have anyone helping him. It was just him the entire day. He was not lazy. He was working his butt off. And that kind of shut him up. Because I have never raised my voice at him before. But I'm not going to let him down talk one of my coworkers who actually showed up and did his damn job when he didn't even bother to show up. He had one class that was 1 o'clock to 3. He couldn't come in and relieve our coworker who worked 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.? Are you joking? You're the assistant manager. Take initiative. He doesn't take initiative. So, anyway, I chew him out, and he kind of gets quiet. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Yeah, he wrote you like a list of things to do, by the way." I was like, "Okay," and I'm thinking, maybe this guy will stay. His class doesn't start for an hour. Maybe he'll stay and help me. He goes, "Yeah, it looks like you've got a lot to do again. A lot to do again. Oh, yeah, it looks like you have a lot to do today. Have fun. Bye." Left. So I have 5 pallets in the freezer, and essentially 3 floats and 2 carts in the cooler that I have to run. On top of that, I also have to run some of our backstock from the cooler. To put things into perspective, Wednesday's supposed to be truck day, and Thursday's supposed to be backstock day. I didn't touch any backstock the entire day because I was trying to run that damn truck. Because this guy didn't show up. Shioda felt so bad for me because he popped over at one point to say hi, and I basically was like, "I am not in the mood for anything today." And he felt so bad to me. He went up to one of the managers that we were working, and he stayed 3 extra hours after his shift to help me in my department.
Truly good. I know he's not like a manager, but like honestly, he should be. He's a good guy.
Dude, yeah. And then I managed to go and steal one of the customer service clerks for a half hour to help him. Because it took me 3.5 hours. That's with him helping me for the last hour and a half of that.
Right.
To run dairy. Just dairy. And I still had 5 pallets in the freezer. So I went over and I found one of the managers. And I said, "I need help." Because he came over to me and he basically said, "By the way," because it was 4 o'clock by then. He said, "By the way, the truck's going to come at some point because it arrives between 4 and 10 o'clock when the store closes." He said, "The truck's going to arrive at some point. You got to get those pallets out of it." I looked at him and he could tell I was stressed and I went, "I'm trying." I looked down and I went, "I'm trying." I said, Shioda and H are on the other side finishing up dairy right now. I said, "I am just now touching the freezer." I'm trying desperately to get through things, because on top of that, again, I'll say, yeah, it wound up helping Muse in the end that Shioda stayed 3 extra hours because she didn't actually have a ride home that day, because he was only supposed to be there till 2 and she was supposed to be there till 5, so coincidentally, he was able to take her home. But, so B, bless his heart, closing manager, was like, "Let me go find some gloves and we'll run it together." So we pulled out. We managed to get through 4 pallets, 4 of the 5 pallets that were in the freezer. We didn't get to the float because, bless his heart, I'm happy that little A downstacked one of the pallets that was in there. However, he downstacked it wrong, and the pallet was basically collapsed against the wall. So I couldn't actually access it without having to completely downstack it, and I am 5'4". He stacked it to at least about 6'5". I could not reach. I would have had to get a stool and just spent the time throwing things on the ground. Like, I don't have time for that. So I left that. We got a pallet that we didn't even get to. B helped me with those 4 pallets, and he helped me run ice, so we could get that ice pallet out of there to make room for the 6, what was it? Another 5 pallets that we were getting that night for frozen.
Right.
He told me how many it was. And I told him exactly what Big A had told me, like word for word, and he went, "That is ridiculous." I said, "This guy's got no incentive. He is not going to stay." Because I told him about how it was Wednesday, and I told him about what he did today, and he was like, his classes aren't till 1. Right. His classes are only like 2-3 hours long, and he couldn't come in and help? I said, no, he didn't want to. In his mind, he doesn't care. He gets paid either way. Who cares? Screw us. I was not happy with that guy.
I wouldn't be happy with him either, man.
It's bad enough we're short-staffed because, our manager left. Because his wife's having a baby, logic. But the fact that our assistant manager won't step up, despite it's his fault, he orders all this. He does the orders. We don't do the orders. Neither one of us are in a position of power. We haven't gone through BBT training. He does the orders. So it's like, why he doesn't step up? Why does he misorder? Because I've told him, literally, I have told him, 20 times to do things. And it gets to the point where, we have a whiteboard over there. I'll even write it down for him. And it gets to the point where he's like, you've told me 10 times. I'm going to do it. It's even on the whiteboard. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I come in the next day and he hasn't done it. It's ridiculous. He pisses me off. Give me a minute. I'm taking a drink of something.
Oh, you're good. As a manager, and I think this is something that a lot of them don't understand, is that the manager's job is to manage emergencies and to predict the most efficient way to get things done, and that sometimes means stepping in to assist in getting things done.
Exactly. So I was scheduled 12 to 7 that day. I kid you not, I was there until 7 o'clock. And normally, part of my job is blocking, which is going around pouring things forward on the shelf, making them look nice. And that takes about 2-3 hours, so I normally start at 3-4 o'clock, because it'll take me until the closing for my department at 7, 7 or 8 if it's on the weekend. I kid you not, when we finished the truck that I was doing with the truck, it was 6:30. So I filled milk and eggs, and then I went over to B and I went, "Can I please go home?" I said, "It's 7 o'clock. There's no blocking done. I am so sorry." And he said, "Go home. It's fine. I totally understand." I was like, Big A better not complain about there not being a block, or he's going to get it. And he was like, "Oh, trust me, he better not complain, or he's going to get told off," because all the managers that were there yesterday were not happy with him, because he basically said, screw you to both me and Little A Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
And so, was not happy.
Right.
Showed us joined to hear the rage. He's not going to talk. He's very tired. But, God, I was so not happy with that guy.
God.
Yeah, not only did he have the audacity to diss on Little A about Wednesday because, he was too lazy to run things, when he was the only person that was there. Also, for Thursday, he was like, by the way, I spoke to the managers, they're going to get the day runners to help you. I went over to the manager, they said, 1, he did not speak to them, and 2, if he had, they would have told him, they don't work Wednesdays and Thursdays!
Right.
For God's sakes! Oh, and what's worse is, when I told him, because he was like, don't worry about the freezer, just get to it if you can and stuff, I'm like, I have to get to it, because there's 5 pallets in there. We're getting a truck tonight. And he looked at me, he went, we are? I'm like, that, I also snapped to him about that. I said, yes, what do you think you're doing the orders for? I said, what do you think you're doing the orders for? And he was like, oh. I didn't know we got a truck for Friday. I went, dude, we get a truck Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. How is it that I know this better than you do? And, yeah, he was like, oh yeah, no, we do get a truck for Friday. Oh, yeah, you should probably run that then. I swear to God. Anyway, Muse, what did he tell you? What did he tell you today at work?
Do you really want to know that?
I want to know. I want to know, because I need to know if I need to chew him out or if I need to report it to management.
It's more so, like I told you, he was in the dairy cooler organizing or doing whatever he was doing. He was dealing with the damaged items at that moment, and he's
because
like,
because I had to take I literally had an entire cart of damaged, expired goods that he just hadn't pulled off the shelf in the 2 days I was gone. Because, who cares?
Yeah, so it's, he was like, I'm by myself, so I'm only dealing with this. I don't have time to deal with the freezer.
Are you joking?
Nope.
We were by ourselves with... That boy. We were by ourselves on... Little A was by himself Wednesday. I was by myself Thursday. The audacity of him to say that. Oh, I was by myself. I didn't feel like... He ordered 5 pallets in the freezer. I'm supposed to run backstock tomorrow. Because our truck Sunday is 8 pallets. I'm supposed to run backstock to clear up room. Instead, I'm going to be running the truck again. Are you kidding?
At that point, just talk to management.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be in a managerial position if he can't.
I'm going to, because it's getting to the point where, I'm miserable and Little A is considering quitting, which would put us at 2 people. So, I'm definitely I'm making a note right now.
What?
Little A is fed up with him. He's not, considering quitting, but he's pissed. He's done with him. When I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to talk to the manager. I'm going to tell him what you told me.
Yeah. I guarantee Big A is going to go, I didn't tell her that.
They trust you more than they trust him.
Really? Then why is Wolf having to run the truck again?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would be like anyway. That's what I would be like anyway. If I was the manager.
I mean, all of the managers know that all of the managers are on your side. They're really not going to side with him regardless. They all know he's full of shit.
Oh, they all know he's full of it. They're not happy with him. I'm really not happy with it. It's getting to the point where I'm dreading going into work because I know I'm going to get screwed.
Yeah.
God, if he works tomorrow, he normally works Saturdays. If he works tomorrow morning, I swear, I'm going to rip him a new one. I'm not kidding. I'm so pissed. I work 12 to 8 tomorrow. And then I have to turn around and I have to come in at 7 a.m. the next day. And I work 7 to 4 because whoever made that schedule is a quote-unquote genius. The normal shift's 7 to 1. No, I gotta stay an extra 3 hours. And no one comes in to help me until 12.
I'm 12. I'm 12 to 8.
Did he say anything else?
No. No. I try again, like I told you, when he was trying to find B for an hour. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. It's just he was very desperate to find him.
Oh, I'm sure he was. I'm glad he wasted an hour when he could have been running a pallet doing that. So glad. Jesus Christ. I hate that guy. And you wouldn't even like him if you met him. He comes across as very arrogant and know-it-all. Because every time you tell him to do something, or you remind him he needs to do something, he goes, "Oh, I know." And it's like, no, you don't. You're not going to do it if we don't tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
Shota, don't worry. I already know. We've had this. Shota typed, "I would help, but I'm closing and I'd be going overtime." I know, Shota. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, Shota, you might find this
I already knew
little
about it.
You might find this, don't you dare start doing, but you might find this slightly amusing. Or before I got off work today, um, M, um, M was like one of the closing clerks, and she was like, "Okay, there are way too many of you. Who can leave? The hell can leave right now? Can you? No, I'm waiting on the ride. Can you? No, I can't drive. I'm waiting on the ride. Can one of y'all leave?"
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because there were two closing clerks. D was still there.
Yeah, Shota says hint.
And there was 5 cashiers. Oh, by the way, it was the freaking 3 dumbasses again. I wanted to bite. I mainly wanted to bite D's head off.
So my department, we got Dumb and Dumber. So long story short, the back of the store, we've got Dumb and Dumber, which is Little A and Big A. Front of the store has the Three Stooges. Literally, that's their nicknames. Everybody knows it, except for them.
Yeah. Oh, and also, Shota, I figured out why the damn freaking carpet is always dirty on certain nights. Front D, he will, whenever he does the freaking beep and sweep, once he comes back with the sweep,
he pushes it onto the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know he did that too. I thought you guys knew.
No! I wasn't.
See, he says he's aware.
It pissed me. When I saw that, I just was shooting daggers at him. And he's like, "What? I'm not doing anything wrong." And he was showing the new bagger this. So, about like 10 minutes at the next beep and sweep, I was the one in charge of doing this. And I finished doing this, and then I pulled the bagger aside, and I'm like, "You know how Fronty told you to do it like this? Don't you dare do it like this." Ignore him. Ignore him.
That's what I told Little A. I literally, as soon as I told Little A, and I told him this as soon as D announced that he was leaving Wednesday for his two week at least, however long it's gonna take break. I asked D, I said, "Can I tell Little A that he's to answer to me and not Big A?" And he said, "Be my guest." So I told Little A, I said, "If Big A tells you to do something, use your common sense, okay? If it sounds stupid, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay? Use common sense. And that means about 90% of what comes out of that guy's mouth, ignore. If you got questions or complaints, come to me. I'll tell you what to do. I'm pulling the I have been here longer card." I literally, oh, bless his heart. Little A, he texted me. He was texting me Wednesday because he was venting about how Big A had screwed him and stuff. And I was basically telling him, like, what he needed to get done, what he should focus on. Don't worry about how it looks or anything. No one's going to blame you. Everyone knows that we're short-staffed. The managers will understand. Just make sure that they're aware of the situation.
Yep.
He said, he texted me, he said, "I wish you were full-time so you could be our assistant manager instead." I said, "Oh." I was like, I wish that too.
I think everyone wishes that.
Oh, D wishes it too. He does it. D has told me numerous times that I am one of the most competent and fastest people he's ever had the pleasure of working with.
That's always a nice thing.
Oh, I love it. I know. It makes me so happy. I'm like, dude, I'm just doing my job. This is how it's supposed to be done. Because whenever he has a complaint about those two, he always goes to me, he goes, "How long does it take to do a pallet of this size?" in this many boxes. How long does it take? And I normally give him my answer, and he goes, okay, well, then it took them about an hour and a half, 2 hours too long. And I go, yeah, that sounds about right.
I still love that I was faster than them.
Yeah, I had Muse helping. I had Muse, so long story short, it was a day when it snowed. I had Muse help me. I kid you not, she was faster than the two of them combined. We stuck the two of them on a yogurt float the same size as the one I stuck Muse on by herself. They were still going at it 2.5 hours later.
Yeah.
Literally in an hour and a half, Muse was almost done.
Oh,
And that's as somebody who works in the front end and has no idea where yogurt is, has no idea where any of the yogurt things are, and is having to learn the yogurt department for the first time, as opposed to the two guys who have been working there for a month.
yep. Okay. If I can interject, I have got a couple wild stories to tell y'all from the tales of public school.
No, Shota says I felt slow doing it yesterday. No, Shota, you were going fast.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's Panda's turn to rant.
Josh has got something before me, because mine's pretty wild, so I'll let him go first.
I'll say yes,
So-
Josh is with her.
I work at. They say that they're the #1 solar company in America at this point. I kind of doubt that, but I'm just going to listen to what the public rep has to say. So the company is basically broken up into several sections. You have survey. Well, you have the people that go to the site, figure everything out. Then you have civil, clear the site, make everything plain, whatever. Then you have me and my group, which is layout. We have to set up the whole field so that piles can do their job and actually put the piles in the ground that the solar panels are going to sit on. How we do that is similar to how you set up a foundation of a house, where you have poles at the corners or at the end of the section, run a line between them, and then you measure everything and make sure that everything's going to go where it needs to go. How you do that is you put a dead man, which is just a very big piece of metal.
I was going to say, yes, please explain that before you just say a dead man.
Find a large bearded man's corpse and just...
That's literally where my mind went, and then I went, I don't think that's legal.
It's basically a sharpened piece of rebar, but thicker, about an inch thick metal rod that you pound into the ground. You tie a cable to it, run the cable to the end of the other side, put another dead man in, then crank it, jack it so it's like tight. Don't smoke.
Shut up.
But
Sorry.
anyway, so we get to this new site. It's in South Carolina, near Lexington. And it's just sand. So we get there at like 12. We take lunch, we start work at 1. There's only one truck of layout, which is only 3 people. Because the other guy that we would normally have in the truck ain't there for whatever reason. Everyone else there is piles who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yep.
So we have
Sounds
a bunch of
about right.
piles throwing out the material, and then 2 guys putting up the lines. I, by myself, put up like 30 lines, which is normally the amount of work that I would do just in one day, one full day. And
There's that sigh.
Yep.
And to put this into some perspective, the way that you do it is that you have to have a 4-pound hammer, and you have to put your entire weight behind your swing, normally just to get it into the ground. Because dead men are generally are generally 4 to 5 feet long.
I got you, Panda.
You only have 6 inches sticking out of the ground. Because you have to make sure that that thing's not going to move, or else the whole line is fucked and you have to redo it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for 5 hours the first day that we got there. Second day, Russo, my boss, nobody knows his name because that's his last name. But anyway, he pulls me aside, says, "We're running laser." And I'm like, okay.
I wish I could see his face right now.
He's very, very much with his hands right now. Yes.
And so, normally, we have a laser. We have a laser that runs 360 degrees. Has a tall tripod, stands about up to your chest. How it works is that there's a receiver that you connect to a level, and you basically set the laser at one height, make sure that everything's at the right height with the line, put the level on the line, put the receiver up to the laser, go to the other side, level out the laser, and then you walk all the way up, making sure that that the line is at the correct height. Because if you don't do that, piles won't be even, and you can't wreck the thing.
Excuse my turn signal.
So
I just love hearing Panda in the background.
the laser that we were using was a single slope laser,
Right.
which means that it only goes up and down. There's no left or right to it.
Okay.
It's basically a laser pointer that you can tell to go vertical or into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the motherfucker didn't bring the tripod. So we had to use the box that it came in and a log to get it to the point that it could actually like sit above the line so we could tell where it was.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Whenever we used that laser,
It's okay.
there's a board, there are boards that come with it
Right.
that have measurements on it. 1 inch to 17 inches. It's 1 foot wide by 17 inches, 18 inches tall. And I have to, by hand, get a laser dot that is less than an inch wide on that board, which is over 300 feet away, with no way of steadying myself, because if I push down, if I add any pressure to the system that we had, it'll go 3 feet in the air. So quite literally, I have to be the daintiest little motherfucker just to get that thing onto that board so we can actually start doing a fucking job.
Would have been a lot easier if you had a tripod.
Well, we had the tripod for the 360 degree laser, but that's 5 feet tall. So and the other tripod is only like 2 to 3 feet. Like it's literally just above the line. So we do that for a day. The machines, because it's sand, run up on our ass. The boss, like, we also had some piles guys putting in the lines. All of the lines that we went on had something wrong with them because they didn't know what they were doing. That's fine.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar.
Because there's always a new person, they're going to get something wrong. Second day we're out there, Russo's in charge of putting it up. I'm stuck with other Josh doing the laser.
Other John.
Other Josh.
He's fine. He has a lot of jokes. He's making like dumb jokes with the radio because again with the system I have to mark the board, get the laser at his end to match up with where it's at on my end.
Right.
So if it's at 17 on his end and 6 inches on my end, I have to bring the laser down to 6 inches on his end. We're having a good time. We're keeping pace. We stay ahead of them.
Right.
Until both of us need to take a shit.
Fucking what?
Like, I've been holding this thing in for 2 hours at this point. He just gets the sudden urge to do it. And I'm like, okay, he needs to go. I need to go now. So we go. He's in charge of a truck at this point because the other truck driver couldn't be there. His baby mama is having her child. So,
Her shot.
What is with everyone being pregnant right now? What the heck?
There's something in the air. Yeah, your fucking legs.
Can somebody put their pregnancy on hold, please? Just hold it in a few more weeks.
But anyway,
I don't think that's how that works.
we go to the outhouse that we have on site. Both of them are being used. So I have to wait for like 15 minutes before the person talking on the inside of it decides to get his fat ass out.
I love just hearing Josh rage.
And so
I'll tell he's a little southern.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I take my shit
Right.
and then we go to the other side because some fucking smartass's idea was for us to start on one side, get to half of the field, then go all the way to the other side of the field just so we could work back to the half that we've already done. So we get one line done, we go to lunch, come back to lunch, everyone else is like late. So I have to go start the line again all by myself. And then we stay ahead by a miracle. That was Wednesday. No, that was Thursday.
How was today?
Talking to him while I get the stuff.
Today, what happened today was that we started out normal. Everything was going all right. Everything was fine. I'm tired of pulling the laser along, but I can do it. I just keep on throwing the box around and making sure that everything's going all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the people that we have working from piles on layout, I just know that they don't give a shit. They don't care. And they're like some of the newer guys out there just to begin with. So I'm just getting pissed off more and more. Because every time that we come up to a line, there's something wrong with it. We have to fix it. Actually, no, that was Thursday. Thursday was whenever all the problems happened.
Oh, you mean Wednesday wasn't having a lot of problems?
So Thursday, everything's going as I said. Come back from lunch. We asked those guys to offset the lines for us, which all that means is they have to be 4-inch off the lines because if they don't, the piles won't be on the pin, they won't be centered. Come back from lunch. We are in the last 6 rows of the entire site. I get out there, I look at the line. Before I even pull out a measuring tape, I know that they didn't do their job. I look at it, that is not 13 inches off the ground. Take out my measuring tape, measure it 10 inches off the ground. So I have to go through the entire line, those entire 6, redo everything, which takes 30 minutes. 30 minutes of my time gone that I could be doing lasering the line.
And
Eyes.
we knew that 2 of those lines were fucked up. As I said, you're supposed to have a dead man on both sides. Whenever we have 2 lines that are close together and we have a reel long enough, we daisy chain it. Which all that means is we just tie it to the come along, crank it up, move it to the other dead man, wrap it around that one, and then keep on going. So it's like you have one line that ends, but instead of leaving the reel alone, you just pull the reel through the other line. If you can imagine that.
I feel like in there's going to be a different type of dead man that'll be used.
Oh, there's one of
No,
these
they
days they're
didn't
gonna go
put
to get a
it
dead man and they're gonna have an
all.
actual dead man.
No,
Yeah.
they didn't put in a dead man at all. They tied it to the come along of the other line
Oh, you can't do that.
and then ran the line like there was a dead man on it. So we have 2 come alongs now on this line pulling it in one direction. One come along is just up in the air because it is the only tension it has is to the dead man that it's on. There is no tension on that line except in one direction. So we look at it, and somehow word got to us that we were told that it was okay, that we could run that line. Come to find out, after we had done lasering those lines, which was made difficult because there was wind, the wind was blowing. And because we didn't have the tripod, everything moved. So now other Josh's board has like an inch to 2 inch difference every time that the wind blows, just shaking between 2 different inches. So that, like, we literally have to wait for the wind to die down just to shoot in the line. So after we get done with both lines, Big Boss Man comes around, tells us that we can't run it. I'm about to tell him to fuck off because it literally took us about an hour just to do those 2 lines. But we do it. Everyone's happy. We get back to doing our job. And every single one of those lines has another problem with it. Like the fill-in post that we use to make sure that the line is at the proper height, something's wrong with it. They either didn't put it on the pin right, they either didn't, it's too close to the line, the offset, the little clip that they have on it isn't on properly, so we can't run it right. So we have to pull the thing out of the ground, fix it, redrive it. So I'm getting more and more pissed as we get along. We get to the last row. Like, we get to the last 3 rows. The machines are waiting on us. Everybody's looking at us. More problems just keep on compiling. Now there's a slope in the middle of the lines. So quite literally, there's a hill, basically. So my laser is barely an inch above the ground at its highest point. So we have to figure out how the fuck we're going to run this line. So we do math. Figure if we raise X point and X point up to this height, then we can make the line work. So we start doing that. We get to the last line. Have to do that again. We've been doing it for the last 3 lines. Okay, we know what we're doing. Get through lasering the line. Figuring out all of what we need to do. Figuring out everything that needs to go on. Set it to the height. Raise it up by 9 inches. I get to the last dead man. the last offset where I need to raise it up to 22 inches. The dead man's like 3 feet away from it. So there's a lot of tension on it. I'm not feeling like doing it one-handed while carrying a measuring tape. So I pull it up with both my hands, and immediately after I let it go, it snaps right to the ground. There's no tension on it at all. I do my best trying to make it work without pulling the thing out of the ground and having to re-offset it. But at this point, I'm angry. So I tell the other guy, the other Josh, to bring the level because we're going to have to re-offset it. And then one of my other coworkers who's working on the line right behind us is like, hey, hey, are you okay? And I turn to him and I say, no, yank the thing out of the ground, pull the piece of the offset that's not working. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. I see, and I'm upset because I figured out that the thing's broken. It won't work because it's lost so much tension that it's just broken. So that means that I'm going to have to hunt down another one of them. And the way that we do it is after a line is done, we throw it onto a cart and then throw it out. Well, now they're taking it to the trailer that we would use to carry it between sites, which is like 3 miles up the hill. So I'm pissed off because I think that I have to do that. Well, lucky enough, they didn't pick up one of the lines. I see it off in the distance. And all of this thinking is happening in like a split second. And so I'm pissed. And I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do anything anymore. And I haul back. And I'm like, no, I'm really fucking not. And I hurl that thing as far as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And start walking to the other offset. We get back. I finish it. I'm done for the day. If anyone asks me what I'm doing, I'm taking a personal break so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, I wish I could have done that, but I didn't get any time in the 8 hours I was working yesterday for a lunch or a break because I was trying to run that damn truck.
Well, for us, our lunch is mandatory. We're not allowed to.
Oh, ours is technically mandatory too. By North Carolina state law. It is mandatory.
You never do it.
More of what I'm
saying. Yes, and I got scolded. I did get scolded a couple days back, but yes, Shioda said the same thing. I don't. I did get scolded a while back by store manager P, so I am trying to take them a little bit more. But
well, that was because that same day the district manager showed up.
I'll say the same day district manager showed up, so that was the real issue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was
in the sense that everyone has to get in the truck and everyone has to leave at lunchtime.
Oh, trust me, I know he was here today because Jay.
Today was a scan. Why do you think I was trying to run that damn truck?
Yeah, because Jay was doing announcements for once about the store deals, which I have never heard.
I'll say we've never had those announcements done. So he showed us, half cake Friday. Yep.
Oh, and $5 sushi Friday.
$5 sushi. Damn, if I didn't have sushi the night before.
Oh, they ran out by the time I could grab some, so I went and got Chick-fil-A.
Going back to Chick-fil-A today. Oh, yes. Continue, Josh.
There's a whole other second half of this story that I haven't even told you. That's just the work.
Tell the second half so then Panda can share her stories.
All right. So, second half of it is once we leave the job site.
Ooh.
We have to work, we work out of state. So, oftentimes we stay in a hotel. Well, normally I'm roomed with other Josh because you generally room by the people in your truck. He is off driving the other truck. And So we have to split up between 3 different hotels because nobody thought about this in advance. And so, yeah, he ends up in another hotel, and I have to sleep with another person, bed room with another person. The guy that I have to room with is just 100% loud. There is no low setting on him. Whenever he talks, whenever he breathes, it is loud. And so, I know. So, first night, I'm not really expecting anything. He leaves the room to get drunk. Fine. Everyone at the work site does it. I understand. But he comes back and he puts on some Kevin Hart like comedy about a groomsman, and it's on like 100. And so I'm just sitting in my little corner, just trying to, you know, just trying to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He turns it off, goes to sleep. The motherfucker snores.
Oh.
Oh no.
So I, like that night, I was literally debating whether I should go into the bathroom and sleep in the bathtub. Just,
Oh.
Oh. Oh, Josh.
and it's been like that the whole week. The only saving grace is that generally because of the terrible time that I'm having at work, is that I'm so beat that I'm able to go to sleep before he gets back. So that's more of the reason why I was so upset whenever we got to that last pile or that last row.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, now it's
Okay.
Panda's turn.
Yep. If we have time, I also want to do a quick rant.
Okay.
Oh, we'll have time.
But we got time. It's all good. So, guys, welcome to teaching in a Title I school. This week.
Oh boy.
Okay, listen. So, I'm used to a lot of crazy shit happening
Mhm.
around the middle school and the high schools I work at. Okay, I'm pretty used to it. This past, like the week, literally like the day before we were all supposed to go to Christmas break, one of the kids, one of the kids, two of the kids at the high school set a fire behind the carpentry room. Right, like I'm used to it.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Yep.
new.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know about that one. What?
Yeah, no. I was. It was during the middle school. I was just having all the kids watch a Nightmare Before Christmas that week, and
Nice.
I get a text from one of my high school parents, being like, "Hey, Miss Panda, just wanted to make sure everything was all right. We heard about the arson at the high school," and I said, "The fucking what?" And I look behind me. There's a fucking fire truck next to the high school, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
It's like, kids, we're just about to
That
go
wasn't
on
even
break.
the
Seriously?
Yeah, that wasn't even the kicker of Christmas, the day before Christmas break. One of my kids apparently snuck a rabbit into her backpack and brought it to school, even though I checked her bag for it. Don't know where the hell she put it,
How do you
right?
make a rabbit disappear?
Mm-hmm. And she got called to the front
Magic.
office because, like an idiot, she pulls it out of her bag in the middle of math, right? And she she gets to the front office. The rabbit gets loose.
She
The
always says
rabbit
put it
gets
in a
loose.
hat.
The rabbit gets loose in the front office and literally just jumping around the front office. I, like, like you can't make this shit up.
Oh my god.
I oh, it pissed me off so bad. And okay, a couple of weeks ago as well, I was on the podcast this week. One of
He did
our
a magic
PE
wand
teachers.
emoji. I'm sorry,
Oh
she
my
would
god.
have.
No, you're good. One of
Shioda's
our
a
EC,
treasure.
and if you don't know what EC means, it means exceptional children,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So it's for our special education teachers. She gets busted for sleeping with one of the boys on the varsity basketball team.
Wait,
Uh,
what?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
So
surprised.
not only is she probably going to jail because a teacher sleeping with a student, regardless of the age difference, is a felony in North Carolina. Fun
Yes.
fact. So,
Yes, because that's
um,
called the teacher taking advantage of their position.
exactly.
Yeah.
She's also getting deported because she was
Mm.
on our international teacher program, so that's fun.
She done
Sad.
screwed up.
Yep, she really fucked up. Like, and you know what the worst part was? Is that the kid fucking filmed it, right?
Okay, now that's just
Um,
stupidity.
um,
And was,
I'm
you know,
sorry.
like, oh,
She would have put a thing in the chat saying scandalous.
scandalous indeed. Scandalous indeed, Shota, because not only did it get filmed, the kids were airdropping it to each other in the middle before class that day after.
they really weren't using their brains.
No, do you guys remember when they had that whole thing when we were in high school where
Dropbox, yeah.
a chick's nudes got leaked or something, and it was getting passed around to everyone?
Oh,
Yeah.
it
And how
wasn't
they
just
found
hers.
that?
It was 100.
That was
There
like
was a lot.
100 girls at our school who were dumb enough to take nudes. By the way, don't be
Don't.
stupid.
No, hold
It
on. It
was
wasn't. It wasn't the girls. It was the two dudes that did
these
it.
two dudes just spread them around. It was really
Yeah,
bad.
no,
But
but the
anyway,
girls were dumb enough to take pictures of themselves and give it to someone.
Yeah,
don't
no, that's the dumb one.
be very
That's the dumb one.
cautious who you give your nudes to, people. That's the advice there.
Or just don't
Okay.
take nudes. Tell them to come over and show them your nakedness then.
I just love that that was the second time the freaking FBI had come to our school
Yeah.
while
to
we
mention-
were there.
Not to mention
But-
the countless bomb threats we
Yeah.
had in middle school and high school.
Yes. So
Oh, and the student that managed to bring a gun to school, thankfully unloaded.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that. You wait. Now listen, the last couple of weeks at my work have been kind of crazy. Okay. Last week, we had a student bring a gun to school.
Oh, just like high school all over again.
So thankfully, we don't think that they were going to hurt anyone with it, but it was still like really scary. Didn't hear about that until after I got home. So that's fun. And then
That's normally how it goes.
this past week has been an absolute shitstorm. Okay. Come to find out, I came in, and now I spend my mornings at a different school than the one I spend the rest of my day at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I come in, and 3 of our elective teachers, the ones I tend to hang out with, are sitting in the choir, in the choir room. They seemed all very upset, and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And the band teacher tells me they all told me there was a massive fucking fight that morning during transition to their first block, right? So I can't remember what hallway it was, but I know that was the 3 biggest 8th grade girls that we have, right? All got into this massive cat fight. Okay. Like, one of them was literally dug into the girl's scalp and was dragging her across the floor. Like, it was bad. And so,
Crazy
now
hormones.
I am going to tell you this right now. Most of the women on the elective hall are not women that should be breaking up fights. Okay? They're not much bigger than me. And if they are taller than me, they're also a lot skinnier.
So, for those of you who don't know, Panda is not tiny. I will say, you are short, but you have a stocky frame.
I'm short but a little stocky. Yep, I'm short but thick, right? Short but a
Yes.
little thick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joshua. Yes, I know. Anyway,
Oh yeah, Muse, I remember that too.
like, I'm not big or anything, but I'm not like stick thin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I was like, y'all calling me fat?
No, we call
Okay,
you beautiful,
No.
hot.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
all right. So,
Don't mess with Panda.
Don't.
oh,
She'll shoot you.
no, it was
The
just,
best sniper in the Misfit group.
that is
Uh-huh.
true. That
Yeah,
is
no,
true.
that's just goes. That is true. She doesn't even deny it.
Oh, man. So, anyway, my point is, like, either the women are either my height, maybe a little bit bigger than me, right? Or,
Mhm.
or taller than me and thinner than me. I weigh about 100, what, 116? None of them can possibly weigh more than that. Okay? Not a weight that you should be breaking up fights at. All right? Definitely not. Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway. So, but they were the only ones there to break up the fight. So, they are all trying to break apart these, and these are big girls. Okay? You're big girls.
Say it differently. Tall, wide.
They are tall, and they are like, they could probably be wrestlers if they really want to. They were very built girls. Okay. And oh my gosh, they managed to break them apart finally, and the guidance counselor breaks them up. One of the girls goes in and punches the guidance counselor in the head. Right?
What?
Yeah. And yeah, that's an incident report. And at this point, as they're telling me this, I'm thinking, where the fuck is our SRO? Right? And if you don't know what an SRO is, that means school resource officer. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're curious, that's what that means. All right. And basically, so what is he doing? Dipping off in the fucking corner. All right. Basically watching all this go down. Apparently. And our principal comes in, and he's also a pretty large man. Okay. Just moseying on down the hallway, letting all these small women break up this fight. Okay.
Jesus.
And of course, like to the point where like we were like, yo, SRO guy, can you like put that girl that just decked a guidance counselor in cuffs? Could you do that? And he doesn't. He literally just sits there and stares at her, right? And I'm thinking, what the fuck is? Why are you even here? What do you think,
Yeah.
sir? This is your whole fucking job, is to prevent shit like this. And you can't even do the bare minimum of that. And then I come to find out that there were 2 more fights after that one the same day.
Jesus.
And I'm just so upset. I was like, why do we even have an SRO at this point?
Yeah.
I just. So the band teacher is telling me she just lost her at that point. Like she had to go into her room and she was just crying because she was so just stressed out from all that, you know, which who could blame her? I'd probably cry too, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, just from the stress of it. And also, a kid had a fucking seizure in the middle of it and hurt his leg, so we had to call an ambulance for him.
I thought our high school had stories.
No.
Jesus.
I know. So the principal comes into the band teacher's room and she's collected herself at this point, right? And he's like, "You okay, Miss Band Teacher?" Right? And she's like, "Yeah, I just needed to take a second, you know?" And he's like, "Give you flashbacks to high school or something?" And she just looks at him dead in the eye and she goes, "No, at my high school, they would have been detained and then put on trial for expulsion."
And then he just walks out of the room.
Jesus.
As he should have. I would be fucking embarrassed if I was the principal and all I did was like suspend those girls.
Oh yeah, no, I will say
Fucking
to suspend a student is they weren't in our school district.
Yeah.
Our school district, it didn't matter what you did. I think the person who brought the gun to school was only suspended for our school district because their reasoning was, well, the gun was unloaded.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like they intended to harm any students. I was like, seriously?
The one person that pissed all of us off personally.
Oh, if I ever meet him, I'm gonna kill him, and no one can stop me. By the way,
can I help?
Yes. But yeah, Anyway, back to Panda. Sorry, Panda.
No, you're good. This is why I want to start working out. Okay? This right. I'm pretty strong. Like they said, I've got a little bit of a build to me, you know? I'm not like, I got some muscle on me. I can open a pickle jar, okay? I have opened a pickle jar. Every time I open a pickle jar, I send the picturing to Joshua and I just say "ha" underneath it.
Dude, that's one thing I like about my job is because I'm lifting milk crates all day. I'm lifting like dough and a bunch of heavy boxes. I'm lifting like 50 pounds a day at multiple times a day, so I'm actually building up a lot of muscle. I'm in great shape.
That's great.
Oh, on a quick side note, Wolf, Ben comes to me today. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do that again."
Oh yeah, no. He was the one that was happy to help me on Thursday. He point blank, he looked at me when we were done, and he went, because I went, "Oh, I'm tired." He was like, "I'm tired too, but you've been doing this all day." He's like, "I don't know how you do it." I was like, because I told him, I said, "Oh, my back hurts." I was like, "Man, my back's starting to hurt." And he was like, "My everything hurts." I was like, "Yeah, welcome to Dairy Frozen. You want to stay?" He was like, "Hell no."
Hell no. Yeah. Going back to Panda.
Yes,
sorry,
back to Panda
I
again.
had to say that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's one of my goals is to start lifting some weights and really put some serious. I can just throw my weight around. Honestly, that's my goal. Oh my goodness. So, now let's try something a little lighter, just to balance that out. All right.
Okay, hey Shoto, do you want to hop in for a quick sec to mention your special surprise for Wolf? Okay. Hey Wolf, you want to talk about your special surprise?
Oh, he got me the sweetest thing for Valentine's Day. Y'all gotta get yourselves a work hubby. Best thing ever.
I just love that you came to me and you just said, you!
Yes, because, those little sneaks, they're such Slytherins. I had no idea that they had done this. And H denied that Shiota had been there that day. So I had no idea he had been there. So one day I went in.
Quickly, did she tell you that she helped with the writing?
Yes. So, long story short, Shiota being the wonderful work husband he is, so amazing. God, I love him. Platonic work hubby love. But I came into produce, and, this was Monday. It was Valentine's Day. I wound up having to help Flora a lot. Not fun. But I came in, I go to the back room where I normally put my stuff, and sitting there, and at first I didn't pay it any mind until I noticed there was a card on it that had my name. Sitting there was two things. There was a cookie cake in the shape of a heart that said work hubby on it. And H had written that for him because he had apparently gone up and asked her somebody to who knew how to write on cakes, because bakery at our store leaves like halfway through the day for some weird reason, because then deli has to handle it. But yeah, so there was that, And then there was this. We had these little like candy set vase things, and it's like a glass jar that has candy in the bottom, and then it has decorative paper, and then it had 3 hearts like on poles stuck in it. It had 3 hearts, and the hearts were like boxes of chocolates, and then it had 2. Yeah, he sent a picture in the chat, or she sent a picture in the chat because he shared it with her. Yeah, because I said that. It had 2 candy, like king size candy bars in it, and then he had put an envelope there that said my name on it. And there's this cute white tiger hugging the jar. Because I've got it set up so it's on my TV now. So whenever I look over to my left, I can look at it. And it's named Shiota. I have named it. And then in the card, as if this wasn't enough, as if getting me a cookie cake and this thing full of candy and stuff wasn't enough. In the card, it said, so basically, surprise, happy Valentine's Day. Discord later, and it had a redemption code printed out on the bottom, and I went, redemption code? Turns out he got me the new DLC for Animal Crossing. Because I love Animal Crossing, and I've been saving up to try and get this DLC. I just haven't had time to get it.
Yeah,
no,
I
agree that a
agree.
present shouldn't be edible. Are you kidding me? Your present was 1,000% edible.
Not the last part.
Not the,
No,
okay, the redemption code wasn't, but the rest of it was. Oh, and the tiger, the cute tiger. Was it?
Yeah, no, Shiota, I agree with that because as I like giving gifts that you can keep for a while because it's like you don't if you give, like, for instance, candy, okay, Wolf, I love you, but your memory is for shit. You're not going to remember that candy in a year.
I would like to point out, someone still owes me my Christmas gift.
Okay,
I said end of January, hun. End of January. I've been waiting. End of January, I say on February 18th at 10:09 p.m. at night. Come on, Muse, where's my cookies?
I promise.
I'll say
Hold me to this. Hold me to this, I promise. I'll make them on Tuesday.
I will hold you to that because I close Tuesday and it's going to be hell. I can't. I'm already telling you now. I'm not looking up to it. Bar set low, yay!
Leave me alone.
Oh, but that was the best. Nope, you did an evil face. You did an evil face. But that was that made my day Monday. That made it infinitely better that I was there working in a department that wasn't my own. Because I have to work in produce on Mondays because they claim short staffness. However, they have over a dozen people working for them. Half of their employees can only work 2 days a week. Why they hire them, I don't know. Makes no sense. There's 7 days in a week. Hire people that can work more than 2 days. Because they claim they're part-timers. Honey, that's not part-time. That's part-time. That's like barely working. Like, I'm a part-timer and I'm working 30 hours this week. They're part-timers, they work 10. What the hell?
Shut up! Buzz off!
Shiota says, so what I'm hearing is that the bar isn't set very high. Yes, Shiota, I agree.
Wait, which one of you said that? Oh. God damn it, Shiota, really?
Yep.
Anyway. There's an Easter egg radish? What?
Where did you get Easter egg radish from?
What? Radish.
I don't know.
Radish?
Everyone's so confused now because you said Easter egg radish news.
Yeah, apparently there's a thing called Easter egg radish.
Oh, as part of our... Yeah, those things, yeah. I just call them radishes. Because it's a radish. But they're the size of an Easter egg.
Okay, there's red radish, there's watermelon radish, there's black radish, there's Easter egg radish, there's white icicle radish, there's...
We don't sell a lot of that at our store.
Nerd! Shut up!
Thank you, Panda, thank you. I'll say if somebody wasn't going to do it, I was. Nerd.
Shut up! Shut up.
No. Why do you know all that? I don't know.
You remember how I was doing the
Yes, but I don't know
flashcard?
why you would make flashcards of those things because those aren't like actually important.
Okay. I took a picture of every single produce item that was in the computer screen, and I made a flashcard for every single one of those that had a code.
Weren't you
Leave
supposed
me
to come
alone.
to me so I could like tell you, hey, that's not actually a thing we sell?
Shiona, why did you keep that photo?
I'll say, is he showing off your cards now?
I hate you. You better not show the
Aw,
other
poor
blackmail.
baby.
Otherwise,
Oshiota. Oshiota. We love us some
no.
blackmail. Oshiota,
Okay,
we
it's
love
not
us some
black.
blackmail.
Okay, no. To be fair, it's not blackmail once he shares it. He can't use it as blackmail anymore, so he wouldn't
Except I'm
use
his
it
work
up like
hubby,
this.
so he's supposed to kind of share those
No.
things with me.
Now
No, because that still
Black-
wouldn't work. Because if he was going to use blackmail to make me do something and he threatened to tell you, it won't work because you already had the info. So, ha! No!
No.
Shut up! You're a Slytherin. That's not how that's supposed to work.
Honey, there's so much blackmail we can get on you.
I'm
One piece of blackmail being used up is nothing. It's like a needle in a haystack, hon.
I don't like you two.
Well, suffer.
I already
We are your
do.
work
I'm your
fathers.
daughter.
Yes, we are your work fathers. Suck it up. We will we will give you our love whether you like it or not.
Alright. Guys, I'm gonna head out.
I'll
for
say,
the
yeah,
night.
let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us for this rant fest. Very anger infused. I'm sorry, I was coming on very hot today. I'm going to be very hot for the next... How much longer till D comes back? Week and a half? It's going to be a long week and a half.
Oh,
it's going to be so
didn't
long.
you tell him you're funny about the 2 weeks?
Yeah, he claims he's only going to be gone for 2 weeks. And I told him, I said, base it on your wife's health. And then I told him, I said, very funny, 2 weeks with Big A as our assistant manager? Ha 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 ha, no. Your wife is not giving birth. You are staying here. He was like, I can't... He was like, what do you mean she's not giving birth? I said, you're not having a kid. No.
Oh no, I wasn't mentioning that part. I was mentioning, 2 weeks, add a couple.
Yeah, no, I laughed at him. I said, 2 weeks, add a couple. I said, you're going to be so sleep deprived. I said, it's a kid, dude. He's going to take more than 2 weeks from you. I said, I'll see you in like 3 or 4. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. A lot of rage. Yeah, anybody else? So everybody say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy the rage. I promise we'll try to not come on as hot next time.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
But let me retract that promise and say no promises.